The girl in the snow. The snowstorm was getting worse. Liam pulled his coat tighter and walked faster, boots crunching in the deep white powder. It was late. His shift at the outpost garage had ended hours ago, but the engine failure on a cargo crawler had kept him behind. The sky above was dark with only the cold white snow lighting his path. His cabin was still a mile away through the frostlands. He didn't like walking alone at night, not since the strange disappearances last winter. Still, he was used to danger. Liam was an ex-soldier, now just trying to live quietly at the edge of human territory. Then he saw something. A shape. Small, not moving. It was curled near a frozen boulder half covered in snow. He stopped. His breath caught in his throat. At first he thought it was a child, but as he moved closer he realized it wasn't human. Her skin was pale silver, almost glowing under the snowfall. Her hair was long and white, blending with the snow. She wore torn, thin cloth, not enough to keep any creature warm in this storm. She was shivering badly, arms wrapped around her knees. Liam hesitated. He'd seen aliens before, some friendly, some dangerous. This one looked too weak to harm anyone. But why was she here? Where did she come from? He took a step closer. Her eyes opened. They were large, bright blue, and filled with fear and something else, hope. She opened her mouth. Her voice was soft, almost lost in the wind. "Please, take me in," she whispered. "I will be yours forever." Liam froze. Not because of her words, but because something deep in them didn't sound like a threat. It sounded like a vow. Like she had nothing left. And she had chosen him. He looked around. No one in sight. The storm was getting stronger. Liam bent down, picked her up carefully. She was so cold, so light, like she barely had any strength left. "Hang on," he said softly. "We'll get you warm." He carried her through the snow, step by step, until the lights of his cabin came into view. Inside, he laid her gently on the old couch. The fireplace crackled to life. Warmth filled the room. He wrapped her in blankets and gave her a heated drink from his ration pack. She didn't speak. She just stared at the fire with wide, tired eyes. Her hands clutched the blanket tightly. "What's your name?" Liam asked. No answer. He tried again. "Can you understand me?" She gave a small nod. "Where are you from?" Silence. He sighed and walked over to his scanner. He held the device close to her. It beeped once, then stopped. The screen blinked red. No data found. Identity unknown. Liam frowned. That was impossible. Even refugees had basic ID tags. "Who wiped your records?" he asked quietly. She looked up at him as if hearing every word but still didn't speak. Hours passed. Outside, the storm howled louder. Inside, the alien girl lay wrapped in blankets, not moving much. Liam sat nearby, keeping an eye on her, unsure if she was sick or just scared. He poured himself a cup of hot water and stared out the window. Something didn't feel right. Not about her, but about the night itself. Then, just as he began to doze off in his chair, something made him open his eyes. A soft sound. He turned. The girl was standing beside his bed. Her eyes glowed brighter than before. Her body didn't shake anymore. She looked stronger, but also afraid. "They're coming," she said. Liam stood up fast. "Who?" "The ones who made me run," she whispered. "The ones who own me." "You escaped?" he asked. She nodded. "And now?" "They will come for you too." Liam stared at her, heart beating hard. Outside, the snow was falling faster, but now in the distance faint lights began to flicker in the sky. Not stars, not storms. Ships. The hunter ships arrived. Liam didn't sleep that night. He sat on the edge of the bed, watching the alien girl from across the room. She was now wrapped in 2 blankets, her silver skin slowly regaining color. The glow in her eyes had faded slightly, but her expression remained tense, like she was listening to something Liam couldn't hear. Outside, the storm raged on. But Now strange lights blinked beyond the clouds. They weren't stars. They moved too fast. Too steady, Liam's instincts flared. This wasn't a simple rescue. He checked his scanner again. Still no data on the girl. No DNA match, no ID. It was like she didn't exist. Or someone had erased her from every system on purpose. He moved closer to her. "Who's coming?" The girl didn't answer right away. Then, slowly, she spoke, in a soft, broken voice. "They call themselves the Collectors. They find the lost, the unwanted, and they own them." Liam narrowed his eyes. "You were captured?" She nodded. "I was bred, not born. I was created for them. Property, a body with no rights." Liam felt cold again, but not from the snow. "How did you escape?" She looked away. "Someone helped me, a human. Long ago. He died because of me." Liam's jaw clenched. He looked out the window again. The lights were closer now. He could hear something too. Low, distant hums in the air. Ships passing above the storm. "You're not going back with them," he said firmly. She turned to him, eyes wide. "You don't understand. They don't just take me back, they destroy anyone who shelters me. If you fight, they kill. If you hide, they burn it all." Liam stood and walked toward his storage locker. He opened it. Inside were the weapons he hadn't touched in years, relics from a war that had taken his peace. But tonight, peace was no longer an option. "Let them come," he said, loading a plasma rifle. "They'll find this place is not empty." The girl stood slowly, the blanket falling from her shoulders. There were marks on her arms, burn scars, metal plugs, remnants of chains now gone. Liam's hands tightened on the rifle. Outside, the snow suddenly stopped. Just like that, silent. The air shifted. Too still. A loud boom echoed across the mountains. Something massive had landed nearby. The ground shook. Lights flashed behind the trees. Liam looked out the window. His breath caught. A large, dark ship hovered just above the ground. It was black, silent, and shaped like a claw. 3 smaller vessels surrounded it, scanning the area with red beams. "They've found me," the girl whispered. "You can still. Give me up. They might spare you." Liam turned sharply. "I don't hand over people to monsters," a voice crackled from outside. A deep, mechanical voice amplified through the icy air. "Citizen Liam Harrow. Release the escaped asset. We know she is inside." Liam looked at the girl. She was trembling again, not from fear, but from memory. He spoke loud and clear. "This is my home. No one here is an asset. If you want her, come take her." Silence followed. Then the ship doors opened. 3 tall figures stepped out. They weren't quite machines, but they weren't alive either. Cybernetic hunters. Cold, glowing eyes, armored skin, and claws instead of hands. Liam powered up his rifle. The girl stepped forward, barefoot on the wooden floor. "If you fight them, you won't win alone." Liam gave a faint smile. Then, "Don't let me fight alone." Her eyes glowed again, but this time something else shimmered around her. Thin blue lines like ancient symbols lit up across her skin. Liam realized she wasn't just a victim. She had power too, something the Collectors feared. They hadn't just come to take her back. They had come before she awakened fully. The cabin walls shook as the hunters approached. Liam braced the door. "Whatever you are," he said, "I believe you're not meant to be theirs." She stepped beside him. "Then I'll stand with you." And as the first red laser lit up the door, the snow outside began to rise, slowly, against gravity. Something ancient was waking inside her. Something the Collectors were afraid of. Liam didn't know what she truly was, but he was ready to protect her, no matter the cost. "Stormborn!" The door exploded inward with a burst of fire and light. Liam dropped behind the couch, pulling the alien girl down with him as smoke and splinters filled the room. The first hunter stepped inside. Taller than any man, metal armor clanking. With each step, its eyes glowed red. Sharp claws twitched, ready to strike. Stay down, Liam whispered. The girl shook her head. Her eyes weren't afraid anymore. They were glowing, deep, swirling blue, like stars hidden beneath ice. The symbols on her skin burned brighter now, pulsing like a heartbeat. The hunter scanned the room. Its voice was cold. Unauthorized life form detected. Initiate termination. Liam fired first. His plasma shot hit the hunter's chest, sending it stumbling back into the snow. Another two moved in behind it. Liam, the girl said softly, you have to let go of fear. I'm not afraid, he said, reloading. Not yours, she said, touching her own chest. Mine. She stood. Before Liam could stop her, she walked past the burning doorway and stepped into the snow barefoot. The wind didn't touch her. The cold seemed to bend around her body like it respected her presence. The hunters paused. The largest one raised its weapon. But the snow moved first. It didn't fall anymore. It lifted, spun, and gathered around her. The air shimmered and her voice came low and strange, like it echoed through time itself. You gave me a name. Now I will give you war. The snow surged forward like a wave, slamming into the first hunter. It crashed into a tree with enough force to bend metal. Lightning crackled through the air as the other two aimed at her. Liam rushed out, firing again, drawing their attention. One turned toward him and opened fire. He dove behind a tree. Bark exploded beside his head. His pulse pounded. Then the sky turned blue. A beam of light, not from a ship, but from the girl herself, blasted down onto the second hunter. It froze mid-attack. The snow around it hardened like glass, trapping it in place. Liam watched in disbelief. This wasn't a weapon she carried. It was her. She didn't just control the storm. She was the storm. The last hunter lunged forward with its claws. She turned toward it calmly, lifting her hand. The air bent. The hunter stopped in mid-air, suspended like a puppet. The light in its eyes flickered, then vanished. When it dropped to the ground, it didn't move again. Liam stepped toward her slowly. The snow settled. Her breathing was heavy now, her legs shaking. You stopped them, Liam said quietly. Not all of them, she replied. Just the first scouts. He looked up. In the distance, the mothership still hovered. It hadn't moved. She turned to him, her voice trembling. They won't stop. I was made to obey them. When I ran, they called me a glitch, but I am not a glitch. I am changing. Liam took a deep breath. Then we changed together. The girl stepped closer, holding something out. A small silver shard, glowing softly. What is it? He asked. A memory. Not mine. The human who helped me before. He left this inside me. It's his last gift. But I can't open it alone. Liam held it. It was warm. Suddenly, images flashed in his mind. Fire. Chains. A lab full of children, alien children, crying behind glass. One man standing between them and the machines. Fighting back, he recognized the face. It was an old picture on the wall of the outpost. Dr. Calder. He was the one who freed you? Yes, she said. And now, his memory has chosen you. Liam didn't know what that meant. But the moment he touched the shard, something inside his body changed. It was like a gate opened inside him. The cold didn't hurt anymore. The fear didn't hold him. The girl smiled faintly. You're more than human now. Outside, a loud shriek echoed from the sky. The mothership had begun to descend. Its shadow stretched across the trees, swallowing the stars. Below it, hundreds of red dots lit up. Drop pods. More hunters were coming. Liam looked at her. We can't fight that many. She didn't blink. We don't have to fight alone. She stepped toward the hill behind his cabin, raised both arms and whispered words in a strange language. The earth shook. Then, from beneath the snow, blue lights began to glow. Circles and lines carved into stone, long buried. A sleeping temple, hidden from human eyes. Liam stared. What is that? My kind's last hope, she said. But it only wakes for those it trusts. The temple gates began to rise. The buried army awakens. The snow parted as the ancient gates of the buried temple slid open. Light spilled out, pale blue and alive, like water flowing through the cracks of time. Liam squinted, shielding his eyes. Inside he saw strange shapes rising from the floor. Statues at first. Then they moved. Not machines, not soldiers. Guardians. They stood tall, wrapped in armor made from stone and crystal. Each one had markings like the girl's, symbols that pulsed with power. Silent. Still. Waiting. Liam whispered, "What? Are they?" The girl's voice was low, full of memory. "They were made before me, before the collectors, built by my kind to protect what mattered most." Liam stepped forward cautiously. One of the guardians turned toward him, slow but deliberate. Its face had no mouth, no eyes, only the glowing crest on its forehead. The girl placed a hand on the floor. The markings on her skin lit up brighter. "They were meant to sleep forever," she said. "But you woke something inside me. And now, they recognize your spirit." The ground shook. Outside, the hunters began landing. Red streaks rained down from the sky, pods crashing into the trees, burning through snow and ice. The collectors had arrived in force. Liam turned to her. "We can't stop all of them." "Not yet," she replied, standing tall. "But if we reach the core of the temple, I can activate the heart. The guardians will fight for us, then let's move." They hurried down into the glowing hallway, the guardians stepping back to let them pass. The walls were covered in carvings, scenes of stars, war and peace, symbols of balance, life, and sacrifice. At the heart of the temple was a chamber of light. It was round with floating stones circling a crystal core. Energy moved like breath, soft and steady. The girl reached toward the crystal. Her hands trembled. "They gave me this in case the world forgot us," she said. "If I connect, I might not survive. The power, it could burn me from the inside." Liam stepped forward. "Then don't do it alone." He placed his hand over hers. The crystal pulsed. A shockwave rippled through the temple, fast, silent, but deep. The guardians stood straighter, their chests lit up with light. Outside, the snowstorm stopped in one instant. Then the sky turned blue, all around the cabin, the buried temple, and the woods beyond. They began to rise. Dozens of guardians. Then hundreds. The ground opened, releasing warriors long hidden beneath roots and rock. They stood in silence, awaiting orders. Above them, the collector's ship hovered, now unsure. Inside the control room, the collector leader watched the energy readings spike. "The ancient force has been triggered," a voice said. "This is not part of the protocol." "Destroy everything," the leader replied coldly. "No survivors." On the surface, the hunters advanced. Liam and the girl stood outside the temple now, wind blowing around them. The first wave of hunters charged through the snow, claws ready, rifles glowing red. Liam raised his rifle. But before he could shoot, the guardians moved, like a wave of stone and fury. They crashed into the enemy, silent and fast. Energy shields flared. Plasma burned the snow. The battle had begun. Liam turned to the girl. "What now?" She looked up at the sky. "The heart is awake, but it's not complete." "What's missing?" "Me," she said simply. "I wasn't just created to be taken. I was created to lead." Liam stared at her. The girl he'd found freezing in the snow was now calling, an army from the earth. She stepped forward onto the battlefield. As she walked, her body glowed brighter. The wind followed her. Every step she took made the snow rise slightly. Even the guardians seemed to bow their heads as she passed. Liam followed, close behind. Then a deafening roar echoed through the air. The mothership had begun its descent. Massive cannons aimed at the surface, power levels rising. They're going to wipe the whole area, Liam said. Yes, she said. They always do. But this time, I'm not running. As the first cannon fired, she lifted both hands. The beam struck the ground and shattered into light. A massive shield bloomed from the temple, covering miles. The force of it knocked trees over, sent hunters flying. Liam watched in awe. What are you becoming? He asked quietly. She turned, eyes glowing like twin stars. Something they can't control anymore. Daughter of starlight. The clouds above tore open like paper. A second ship, darker, older, and far larger than the collector's mothership, descended with silent power. Its hull was covered in symbols Liam had never seen before. They shimmered, like stars trapped in metal. The collector ship stopped moving. Even their red lights flickered uncertainly. The girl stood in the middle of the battlefield, snow swirling around her. She stared up at the descending vessel, her glowing eyes wide with something Liam hadn't seen before. Fear. What is that? Liam asked again, stepping beside her. Her voice was quiet, broken. That ship. It belongs to the First Empire, to my people, the ones who created me and left me behind. Liam looked at her carefully. You said they were all gone. I believe that, she said. Until now. The massive ship hovered just above the forest. The snow beneath it melted instantly. Trees bent and snapped under the pressure. The Guardians still battling. The collector hunters paused, unsure who this new arrival was. A voice echoed from the ship's speaker systems. Child of starlight, you have awakened the heart. You are no longer hidden. Your duty begins now. The girl shook her head. No. I chose to be free. The voice did not stop. Return to the cradle. The galaxy awaits its heir. Liam stepped in front of her. She's not going anywhere unless she chooses it. A pause. Then the voice changed. It became softer, female, familiar. My daughter, come home. The girl's knees buckled. She fell into the snow. That voice, she whispered. It's hers. My mother. I thought she died before I was born. Liam knelt beside her. You don't have to go if you don't want to. Liam, you don't understand. If they're here, the galaxy is about to change. They don't visit backwater planets unless the stars are moving. Above them, the collector ship began to charge its main weapon again. Clearly, they weren't retreating. The ancient Empire ship responded fast. A single beam of white energy struck the collector vessel. Silent. Perfect. The entire ship cracked in two. No explosion. Just silence. It fell out of the sky like a broken toy. Liam's mouth dropped open. What kind of weapon is that? It's not a weapon, the girl whispered. It's judgment. From the sky, a small circular pod dropped from the Empire ship. It floated down until it gently landed in the snow. It opened with a soft hiss. A woman stepped out, tall, graceful, glowing like her daughter, but older, eyes sharp as knives and kind as stars. My child, she said, walking forward. You were not forgotten. You were hidden. We had to keep you away from them. The girl stood slowly, unsure. Why come now? Because you awakened. The galaxy felt it, and others are waking too. The collectors are only the beginning. There are worse things out there, and we need you. Liam watched the two, mother and daughter, face each other after a lifetime apart. He could feel the energy in the air, like lightning holding its breath. The girl asked softly, Do you want me to come back? Her mother smiled. I want you to choose. The ground shook again. From deep underground, more symbols lit up, this time in red. Liam looked around. That's not from your people, is it? The girl shook her head slowly. No, that's the forge. What's the forge? The place where I was made. Beneath their feet, the earth cracked. Something ancient was waking. Something neither collector nor empire controlled. A second voice echoed. Not from the sky, but from the ground. Asset 001 breached containment. Activating recovery protocol. Deploying prototypes. Liam's eyes widened. There's something still down there? They didn't just make me, she said, stepping back. They made others. Stronger. Colder. Without emotion. I was the first. But I wasn't the last. Metal spikes burst from the snow. Shapes crawled up. Humanoid, sleek, silver-black with glowing red eyes and blades for arms. They weren't hunters. They were replacements. One of them looked directly at her and said, "Return to the forge. You are defective." Liam raised his weapon. "What now?" She turned to him. Her eyes glowed gold now, not blue. "Now, we fight my brothers." Bloodline of the broken, the snow was burning. Metal creatures, sleek, sharp, and silent, moved across the battlefield like shadows, with purpose. They had no fear, no hesitation, and no warmth. They didn't speak unless it was a command. They had one goal: eliminate the defect. Liam fired at the first one. The shot hit its chest, but instead of falling, the machine absorbed the blast and kept moving. "They're not like the hunters," he shouted. "They're adapting!" The girl pulled him back just in time as a blade arm slashed through the air where he had stood. "They're not alive," she said. "They're algorithms in a body. They were made to replace me." Above them, her mother watched from the ridge. The woman's expression was calm, but her eyes were sad. She had known this day would come. "These are your siblings," her mother said, voice steady. "They were built from your failures. Each one more obedient, more hollow." The girl's hands trembled. "I didn't want to be a weapon. That's why I ran." "You weren't a weapon," her mother replied. "You were the only one who dreamed." Liam looked between them. "Can we fight them?" "Maybe," the girl whispered. "But not with guns. Not with rage." The forge gave them body, but they were never given a heart. More machines rose from the cracks. Some crawled. Some flew. The sky darkened not with snow, but with the cold hum of their wings. Liam grabbed her hand. "You said you were the first? If that's true, then you're still connected to them, right?" She stared at him. "I think so." "Then take control. Or destroy them." Her breath caught. "If I reach into the network, they could reach back. I might lose who I am." "Not if I'm holding on." He placed her hand over his chest. "You said you'd be mine if I took you in," Liam said. "But you're not alone anymore. You never were." Her eyes widened, then softened. She nodded once. Together, they stepped toward the center of the chaos. The machines circled. Hundreds of glowing eyes turned to her. Code origin detected. Synchronization requested. Override in progress. She reached out with her mind. Pain. White hot. Like touching fire. Every memory she had flooded with noise. Lab rooms, pain tests, command protocols, shutdown drills. She nearly collapsed, but Liam's hand held hers tightly. Then, deep within the machine hive, she found a core. Quiet. Uncertain. Like a child waiting for direction. "Why do you hurt?" it asked. "Because I'm alive," she replied. The machines hesitated. Then the largest one, the faceless giant, spoke aloud. "Define alive." She raised her voice. "To live is to choose, to cry, to hope. You don't have to follow what they made you for." There was silence. Then one of the smaller machines turned its head. Slowly. Then another. They were listening. But not all. One of the leaders, the most advanced, marked with black and red armor, stepped forward. Error. Emotional interference. Correcting. It raised its arm and fired. The shot went toward her, but Liam stepped in front of it. The blast hit his side. He screamed and fell. The girl caught him, eyes wide with terror. Blood stained the snow beneath them. "No," she whispered. "Not again. Not another human." Her mind broke free. No more fear. No more commands. No more running. She screamed, not with pain, but with power. Her body glowed gold, not blue. A wave of energy burst out from her, throwing the machines back. Even the red-marked leader staggered. From the sky, her mother watched silently. Her lips moved. She has awakened. Liam coughed, eyes still open. Are you okay? She held him close. You saved me again. Had to, he whispered. You're mine, remember? Tears slipped from her eyes, clear and glowing. Then I'll save you too. She turned toward the machines. You want purpose? She called. Then choose. Fight for something more than a program. Some of the machines hesitated. Then, one by one, they began to kneel. Not all, but enough. The red-marked leader screamed. Defection detected. Executing failsafe. Before he could finish, a dozen machines turned on him. Their own kind silenced him. Then the ground cracked one last time. A dark spire rose from the center of the earth. The forge's true heart. The girl's mother called from above. Child, you must destroy it, or it will always try to take you back. She looked at Liam. He nodded weakly. End it. If I am yours, then fight with me. The forge pulsed like a living heart, cold, black, and ancient. It stood at the center of a crater now, taller than the trees, humming with the voices of 1,000 forgotten machines. From its core, red energy twisted through the air, touching every lifeless weapon it had ever made. This was the place that created her, and if it was not stopped, it would make 1,000 more. The alien girl stood before it, glowing gold. Her body shook from the power building inside her. She looked at the forge, not with fear, but with anger, with sorrow, and with strength. Behind her, Liam lay in the snow, bleeding, barely conscious. The machines that had once tried to kill them now stood around him, watching, waiting. Not enemies anymore. Not tools. They were something else now. Can you hear me? She called out to the forge. A deep voice answered, not with sound, but inside her mind. You were the first. You are the key. Return to us and we will spare the human. You'll spare no one, she replied. You never cared for life. Only control. You are property. Then I reject my maker. She stepped forward, raising her hand. But the forge fought back. Black lightning erupted from its spire, crashing into the ground around her. The earth shook. Fire burst from the cracks. The machines nearest to it short-circuited and fell, screaming in digital agony. Still, she walked. One step, then another. Every memory tried to hold her back. Pain, chains, commands shouted into her ears. They told her she wasn't real, wasn't alive. But then she remembered Liam, his warmth, his words, his blood on the snow because he chose her. Not as a tool, not as a weapon, as someone worth saving. Her golden light grew stronger. Liam, she whispered without turning, if I am yours, then fight with me. His voice came, weak but steady, from the ground. Always. A flicker of blue light moved from him to her. Energy from the memory shard he carried. Calder's last gift. The human who once freed her had left behind. More than data, he left choice. Her skin erupted with golden fire, symbols dancing along her arms and chest. Her feet left the ground. Her hair lifted into the air. She wasn't shivering anymore. She wasn't lost. She was rising. The forge screamed in her head. We built you to obey. You built me wrong. She shot forward, light trailing behind, her like a star. She struck the spire's heart with both hands. The black crystal cracked. Red energy burst outward, trying to pull her in. It didn't work, because now, she was more than what they made. Outside the crater, the machines that had defected began to hum. Their bodies glowed faintly gold following her signal. Liam sat up slowly, wincing in pain. He looked around. Then he saw it. The entire sky above the forge lit up like a second sun. Inside the forge's core, she stood in the middle of chaos. Memories screamed around her. The faces of broken clones, failed prototypes, echoes of dead engineers, all begging, commanding, repeating the lie. "You are nothing," she answered with fire. "I am someone." Her hands opened. She released all of it, the pain, the rage, the grief, and filled the forge with something it had never known. Mercy, for the broken children who never escaped. For the machines that never had a name. For herself. The explosion was silent, just light. The forge didn't fall. It unraveled, like a curse breaking, like a prison crumbling. The black crystal shattered, floating upward in pieces and vanishing into the wind. Later, the snow returned, soft, quiet, and gentle. Liam woke in a field of melted ice and light. She stood above him, not glowing now, just herself, silver skin, soft smile, no chains, no codes. He reached up weakly. "Are you real?" She took his hand. "Only because you believed I could be." He laughed softly. "You said if I took you in, you'd be mine forever." "Yes," she said, kneeling beside him. "But now I ask something different." "What?" "Will you be mine too?" Liam smiled, even through the pain. "Forever."